What's up, Forkers? It's your boy Matty Worldwide with Ordinary Forks, and we made it. End of the first month, episode 4. This is bite 1, and we're going to be talking about how to cook with an electric stovetop. So if you want some tips, tricks, and otherwise, meet me after the jump. Let's go, jagoffs. The first bite of this week's episode, we're going to be talking about how to cook an electric stovetop. This topic's kind of important to me because it's the basis, I think, of how you can approach almost anything else. Week 1, right, we talked about oil. We heated that up on the stovetop. Week 2, week 1 we introduced, right? We got that out of the way. Week 2 is when we talked about oil. You saw that. Week 3, I wanted to talk about rhubarb because around here was rhubarb season. Week 4, I'm bringing this up, and maybe you're starting to see a trend, right? Well, I'm not really a recipe cooker. And if you came to this channel looking for that, I promise you'll get some recipes. But I cook by taste. I cook by sight. I cook by knowledge. You know, having experience allows me to do that. But it also, I think, belies an understanding of the food and how you're cooking it. And one of my big issues with what I see out in the world and in the internet is that everybody just assumes people know how to cook. So we're going to finish off the first month with a real fundamental lesson. You know, how to use the thing most of us got in our kitchen in order to make better food. Bite 2, I'm going to show you how the heat sort of sticks around for pros and cons. All right, so what it is, let's describe that first. An electric coil plugged into a socket in the wall, or an oven plugged into the socket in the wall that feeds electricity into an output where an electric coil makes a connection. On that connection is, there's a couple different types. You have what I showed you, the coil type, and then sometimes you have glass with a coil underneath. What's nice about this is it covers a lot of the bottom of the pan and gets heat directly into your cooking apparatus, whatever that may be. What's a disadvantage of that is if you got to modulate the heat, or if you're working with something that's a little more delicate, you really can't adjust down from up as quick as you With a glass top, it's great because glass isn't necessarily a heat conductor, so it remains cooler than the actual coil, so you don't necessarily always have to burn yourself, but it also doesn't transfer the heat as effective enough, which means you might need to use higher settings when you're trying to get it to where you need it to be. That's one of the cons, is each oven is entirely dependent on the electrical connection between the coil and the stovetop. So a 6 for somebody might be different for somebody else. This is really hard when recipes tell you to use medium or medium high or medium low heat. You don't want it to be always hot all the time, or maybe you're trusting it a little too much. Might burn the stuff at the bottom of the soup. Generally, a lot of the cons are is that you just need to do more work in order to achieve the same result as something like gas heat. You know, but not everybody has that. Around here, we're all ordinary, so we're going to go with what most people. If you can hook me up, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, like these videos, get them out there. I'm just trying to help people out that might not understand what's going on in some of these more complicated cooking channels. Chatty yins will wrap this up, right? So for this bite, for this episode, the only thing I want you to know is that an electric stovetop has pros, has cons, but really is affordable enough for most of us ordinary forks to have. What I'm going to talk about in the next bite, be a little bit more technical. We'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll get to kind of cooking a few things to express what I'm trying to say. And yeah, and then we're gonna move on and get back to our Friday party, because you know we like to get down around here, right? So for ordinary forks, it's Matty Worldwide. We're wrapping this bite up. And around here we got one saying: it don't gotta be pretty, but it can darn sure taste good.